Hello you guys, welcome back to the CCC channel. It's me, Caleb Correa, and today I'm going to do a deep analysis into my film, One Last Game. I'm going to leave a link below to the final film. So before you guys watch this deep analysis into genre, how we uphold and subvert the expectations of the genres, and how we represent social groups and issues in our film, I'm going to recommend to watch that first. But if you guys don't have time, don't worry, I'm going to have a little summary here for you. So One Last Game is a action slash fantasy slash comedy film about three people who hang out at a house, and before they go home for the night, they want to play one last game. The three friends then pick up this game that nobody's played in a very long time, and they try to, start it. And as one friend goes to grab snacks, Zachary, two of the other protagonists, Kelsey and Anna, get sucked into the game. Now, already you can see the fantasy elements of our film. We're upholding that convention of the genre. Usual conventions of fantasy are unworldly, like dragons, things that aren't custom to the real world. In our film, that's a key point, In real life, nobody's going to actually get sucked into a board game. The same can be said for our comedy and our action genres. Zachary holding up the dog is pretty funny. The banter between both of the girls when they're inside the board game. And our action is kind of built up as the story progresses. There's not a high tension when the video starts, when the film starts, but once the girls get sucked into the board game, once that mystery unknown character is revealed, and once he starts popping up and starts following the girls, the tension builds up all the way up to the end of our film. And those are very typical conventions of comedy and action. And that's just one way that we're upholding those conventions. To be more specific, I feel like our comedy comes from the two girls not being heroes or warriors. They were just two friends who were trying to have fun. So the reactions and the connection with the game world isn't as strong. It gives more of a kind of new feeling, like you feel like their reactions are genuine, like they're real. And that's also a way that we subvert the genre of action. Usually in an action film, in a fantasy film, a lot of people already know what they're getting themselves into. In action, like Fast and Furious and a lot of Marvel films, these people are already well-established heroes. But in our film, nobody knows these kids. And these teenagers are in a world that they don't understand and they don't know how to get out of. Actually, bringing this up, I would also like to mention how we utilized the theories of famous media theorists like Judith Butler, Steve Neill, and Todorov. In our film, Todorov's theory of equilibrium is very apparent. The equilibrium in the beginning is very calm, very peaceful. As soon as the girls get sucked into the game, the equilibrium is disturbed. Automatically, the audience makes the distinction that the forest the girls are in aren't real. The recognition of disruption is also seen when Zachary comes back from grabbing snacks and sees that the girls are gone. He can tell that something isn't right, that something must have gone awry once he was gone. As great film theorist Todorov would say, the equilibrium in our film has been broken, but our film never reaches a moment of the repair of the equilibrium because it leaves off on a cliffhanger. Next, I want to talk about the social groups and issues that our film represents. I feel like the main one would be our girls are the protagonists. Men usually take that protagonist role. They usually take that center stage, especially when it comes out to figuring stuff out. Well, we wanted to challenge that convention, and we used women as our protagonists. Zachary, our only male protagonist, plays a very supportive role. He's not the main focus, which also challenges the typical expectations of the audience. To represent a social issue of fear of the unknown, we added the nameless, almost faceless character at the end that's lurking behind our protagonists. I believe that that character is representing the unknown. The ambiguity represents how fear works in unfamiliar environments. And this is especially apparent when you don't know all the rules of the film. You don't know what happens next. So, how does our film One Last Game answer the big question? Well, it uses conventions like fantasy setting, action pacing, and comedy elements. It also puts the girls at the center of the adventure, and it makes them a pivotal point with the men as the supporting role. We shape our film to captivate and show that women are capable protagonists as well, and that men can always be a supporting role. And the heart of our film is truly representing the emotional friend group and friendship between three teenagers. Anyways, you guys, I appreciate your time and I appreciate you watching my video and tuning in to the CCC. You guys have a great rest of your night, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya!